Hello and greetings to Dr. Matnor. So we are from group 19. So for this group assignment, we chose to use ebook by one of our members with the title of Word Wonders, Exploring Intriguing English Vocabulary. So for the learning outcomes, there are two learning outcomes from our lesson. The first one is learners are able to discover and comprehend intriguing and uncommon words in English language. And the second one is learners could explore word nuances and expand their vocabulary in relevant contexts. Now, moving on to our lesson sequence, I will be talking about the pre-lesson first. So in our pre-lesson, there are two types of activities, which is the first one, pronunciation time, where in this activity, the teacher will write the following words. The five words, which the anachronism, sanctimony, persiflage, and also nonchalance on the board. And the teacher will pronounce each word aloud once with proper pronunciation. Then the student will alternate in speaking one of the words out loud. And at the same time, each pronunciation must be heard carefully by their classmates and they are required to listen attentively to each pronunciation. In the same time, they will also need to offer supportive feedback to their friends following each pronunciations. And lastly, for this activity, the teacher will next go over the definition of each word that was written before. Okay, moving on to the second activity in pre-lesson, which is the listen and learn how to pronounce, where in this activity, the teacher will give a quick overview of the activity and its goal, which helps students to pronounce difficult English words. Not only that, the teacher will also give background information on the significance of pronunciation for learning and how to use all the foreign words. Next, the teacher will play a YouTube video which titled 75 Difficult Words to Pronounce that will explain about the challenging English words to pronounce. And then the students are advised to closely observe how the words point out in the video are pronounced. And next, they will also be encouraged to identify and write down at least five words that they find particularly intriguing or difficult. After that, they will have a short discussion with the teachers where the students will share the words they already wrote down after watching the video. Then they will talk about any particular pronunciation tips or patterns that they noticed in the video. And then the teacher will also require the students to work in pairs and alternately pronounce the words that they wrote down. At the same time, they will also correct each other's pronunciation when necessary. And lastly, the teacher will proceed to offer assistance as well as guidance when they need it.
Next, I will be explaining during lessons activities. And during the lesson, the students will be doing two activities as well, which is one of them is word scramble. In this word scramble, the teacher will ask the student to read the instruction, go through the instructions first, and then will briefly explain the instructions of the activity to the student so that students are able to grasp of what they are going to do for this activity. And after reading and go through the question briefly, the teacher will give an example on how to do the activity. And in that activity, students will need to rearrange the letters that has been scrambled in in the text given. And based on the word description and the words which letters have been scrambled, students will have to rearrange the letters into its original form. And students will have to match at least 5 out of 10 words correctly. And the next activity will be the read along activity, where students are given a poem, which they will be reading for at least 5 minutes. And they will briefly discuss what is that poem about. And then teacher will ask students to identify any words in that poem that they are unfamiliar with, and they will have to get into pairs or groups of three, and they will have to discuss the unfamiliar words that they have highlighted or noted down together and find the meaning of those unfamiliar words using an electronic dictionary that they can access using their mobile gadgets such as phone, maybe tablets, or the laptops that they have.
Next is post-lesson. Uh, the estimated time for the post-lesson will be conducted around 10 minutes. So the activity is called Reflective Journal. Before the teacher distributes the reflective journal sheets to the students, the teacher will initially ask the students to reflect on what they have learned in today's lesson. So a few students will be called out to give their feedback and reflection. Then the teacher will briefly discuss and summarize the lesson topic with the students. And then the teacher will distribute the reflective journal sheets that have been prepared and printed out in advance. So this is the example of the reflective journal sheets. The students are required to fill in the reflective journal sheets. and they need to write about their experience in finding meanings of new words, how they felt, and how they have learned what they have learned throughout the lesson. And lastly, the teacher will collect the reflective journal sheets from each student after they have finished.
I think that is all from us today. Thank you.